Okay, here's some details about my desk. So the desk itself is an IKEA desk. I actually just got it on Facebook Market. It's nice because this section opens up and you can hide all your cords. And there's two holes on the bottom of the desk where I just kind of shove all my cords up into and then shove them in here. And there's just organization in there. And there's also my like Google Home in there, which I kind of have mixed opinions on. It has nice drawers with lots of stuff in here. I've got like 3DS, iPad, highlighters, gonna stuff some scratch pads. For notebooks, I don't really use physical notebooks a ton, but when I do, I have one that's always, this might be the one. It's my crack journal where I just write everything and anything and there's no organization. It's kind of nice to just scratch paper. Really good book, by the way. This drawer, I have a child safety from the previous owner. Some like stuff where I put my keys and label maker, which I'm trying to find a specific use case for this. So I'm just had it here to get ready. Just some other things like microphone, jewelry, watch stuff, some cables here and there, stickers. Yeah, great desk. I've always wanted a bigger desk, and because I've always had these small desks like this one over here, which I'll show you later, but this is a great desk. Now the laptop I use is a MacBook M1, like Ultra or Max, like the maxed out M1, 14-inch. If you're wondering what all this is, it's because the screen broke. The laptop works great though. So this laptop is a beast. I can edit so much on this. It is absolutely game changer. Then I use this adapter here to plug in. It happened to have a VGA port. I actually didn't even buy this. My brother-in-law had this and it was spare. So I have my two monitors plugged in here. Just an Asus monitor, gaming monitor. Bought it refurbished. I recommend buying refurbished tech. And I know this looks weird on camera. It doesn't look like this in real life, but just an old IBM monitor. I think it's pretty small, but it does its job. I just like the aesthetic of it. Now the tech I use on my desk often is mainly these three in combination. And I actually use like all of them and they all fluidly work. I love Apple ecosystem. I am quite a fanboy, but it is quite expensive. And then this is just a dock where I hold my phone. It charges my phone, AirPods, and my watch. It's very nice. It charges the watch slowly as well, which I actually love because something about the quick charging kind of scares me in terms of reducing its battery health. So I like the kind of slow charge on here. And then iPad. Now these all use in tandem. You can copy and paste from here to here. I have a lot of shortcuts set up. So like the action button on my phone activates a bunch of stuff. I can toggle grayscale. I can play some like music, take a nap, which is kind of funny. I use that one on my watch the most because you can also set this up on the watch. And a lot of things like capture a quick task, capture a quick note for Obsidian, start a project. For my phone setup, a bunch of habit widgets, some stuff here, more stuff. On my phone here, I limited the frame rate, same with my iPad, so it actually looks awful to be on. It's very slow, just so I'm not as addicted. I've deleted YouTube. I've done a thing where when I swipe down, it doesn't suggest a bunch of stuff. And certain things like the App Store, I just like removed to be able to search. So if I wanted to go to the App Store, I'd actually have to swipe to the right. And I followed this thing from James Schul's video. He made an iPhone setup and he just added a bunch of Anki's. So it takes quite a while to get here. He also disables Safari in the App Store, but personally I haven't really found an urge to do that. Sometimes I actually really need to just go on Safari for a quick search, like just to Google something. So having it here is nice, and I set a limit on Safari for 1 minute, so as soon as a minute passes, it gets all annoying, so there's just a lot of friction. In the App Store, you can give somebody a password to the App Store, so you can't access it as easily and download a bunch of distracting apps. I haven't found the need to do that, and I've actually needed it because sometimes I would download like this DJI app and a boxing timer for working out, so it's been nice for me. I just have to swipe and honestly I want to add even more of these because with two hands I can swipe kind of fast like this, but it does the job for me. A lot of friction for distracting apps. Same on my iPad. The philosophy here is to make it as hard as possible to do these fun things or distracting things. So I have a lot of productivity apps pretty much. And that shortcut I had on here, it's also on this dock here, so I can click this, access the exact same things. We can do one in Obsidian. Test. Done. Quickest note ever. And I open my Obsidian, which is just a note-taking app basically. I go to my quick notes. Test. And yeah, no distracting apps on here. I've also deleted Safari, and I got this browser called Orion, O-R-I-O-N. And the only reason is because you can install Chromium extensions. So I have Obsidian Web Clipper and distraction-free YouTube, which is ginormous. So okay, shout out to this guy. He has a great video, but yeah, I can't access comments, suggested videos, and if I go home, it's completely blank, absolutely blank. So very distraction-free, and because I do like using YouTube, so I like to keep YouTube for certain things. I couldn't delete off my iPad for exercise and such, but on my phone, I didn't really find myself needing it that much. And I'll go more over this friction removal and removing friction for things like habit apps, so I just can click. And yep, I exercised for 40 minutes, check. I've read for probably like 15 minutes today, 14 minutes, whatever. Finish that later. This habit is hard, but removing friction for productivity, even on the watch here, albeit it is a little slow. See, it takes quite a while. And then that's running, and then I can choose and my favorite one, the last one, I can show you. Yeah, there you go. And the whole idea behind doing all of this stuff is actually based on this video I watched called Willpower is for Losers. And he basically talks about when you have a bunch of desires, it's harder to resist because you have to use willpower to actively fight against it. But he also states that the people who just don't have the desire, they don't have anything to fight against. And so that's the reason why remove a bunch of stuff on these two devices, add friction on here, make good things easy to do. And I'll go into more depth about the software I use later on my laptop. Like I said, these are just AirPod Pro 2, the second version. Noise canceling is super clutch for when I need it. I have the Apple Watch Ultra 1. It's starting to show its age a bit, as that shortcut was showing. Still love it though. Battery life is insane on it. Ecosystem between these. This is iPhone 15 Pro Max. I only wanted the Max version because it has better cameras. I actually want a smaller size phone. I'm annoyed how large it is. This is the latest and greatest iPad Pro Max, or whatever, iPad Pro M4. Apple Pencils in here. This is a DR Tech timer. Very nice to just get some good working in. It just has one purpose. It's a very simple one-purpose device. I just keep a little like kind of a to-do journal-ish thing. Don't really use it all that much lately. I've been experimenting with the app Things 3 on Mac and iPhone. I'm too cheap to buy it on iPad. We'll buy it when it goes on sale probably, but it's amazing between these devices. That with that shortcut I was showing, that shortcut even works on here, so I can open it up here and choose a shortcut. Although I find myself just pressing Control Space to add a to-do because of this app. I do want to find a like Windows and Android system, so I'm gonna experiment with that. But for now, this is my setup and how I actively am using it. But I will experiment with some other ecosystems for those who don't have this, or for those who don't use this. Maybe some other cool things is my wallet. I don't do this anymore, but I try to do this, but I couldn't do this consistently. It's just like a habit tracker physically. It's just nice to have this to do little notes and such. I love the leather feel as well. It's pretty thick though, pretty thick. So I'm not sure I could recommend. It's pretty niche for those who like this stuff, I guess. Also ran a cable under here. It is connected. There's like a USB dock in this thing. And this is like a triple cable. I have USB-C, micro USB, and a lightning port, which the lightning port is actually broken now, so it sucks. Because I have this iPad with a lightning port here, which I wanted to create just for reading manga, but it's just so much of a hassle to charge it right now. So that's kind of on hold. Now, I've created this setup to combat my social media addiction. I want to live a more purposeful lifestyle and understand myself better. I also want to be realistic and cater to my hobbies. I'm not trying to say that all technology usage is bad, but I want to be intentional with my time. At times it feels like I'm missing out, but if you set up a system to do things you genuinely want to do, then it's not as hard to do them. I also journal a lot, so on days that I'm not really feeling it, after 4 hours of work, I'll make sure to take an extra long break. But I also encourage challenging yourself, and I continue to learn how to do this myself.
Technology's main purpose is to help us. For me, this is how I utilize software on my devices to help make my life easier. So first, I use distraction-free YouTube. This just removes the entire feed, comments, and suggested videos. Basically means I have to search for what I want to watch. I like this because there's a balance of still using YouTube, but without random algorithm hits. Or sometimes I'll just watch YouTube, but later in the day. Next is a mix of Leech Block and this app I've been kind of testing called One Focus. Basically just a website blocker. I started using Obsidian Web Clipper to quickly add web page data to my Obsidian. And speaking of which, Obsidian is my main note-taking app as of now. I've tried Notion and Apple Notes, but for me, I really like Obsidian and just the way it works across all of my devices and has in-depth note-taking. I've been experimenting with this app called Habit and Things 3. I really like both of them, except that Things 3 is paid individually on each device, so just FYI. This setup is mainly used for the Apple ecosystem, but I do want to experiment using a Windows and Android setup or a Linux and Android setup. So basically, this is how I use all of my devices together. This is how I use technology to help me. I'm constantly working on new ways to utilize technology and how to have it better help me. And I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on any of this sounds helpful, or if you'd like an in-depth guide on any one point in this video. I do want to go into more depth on my note-taking system and my to-do list system because for me, it has been life-changing. Just the to-do combination with a note-taking app has been immensely helpful, especially for somebody with pretty bad ADHD, to just organize my life and feel like I have things under more control. Also, here's my second desk. I pretty much don't use any tech here, and it's just a nice little escape from it all. Outside a window by intentionality and facing away from my main desk just to kind of focus on my own thoughts and kind of think things through. And on my desk, I have 2 e-readers. This is just a Kindle Paperwhite. Been reading this book, super good so far, highly recommend. And this is my just handheld one. It's pretty super nice. Let me put it up to the mic and you could hear. Super nice. I pretty much just read like one book at a time on this, and this one I will jump between books if I'm kind of not feeling a book, or just, I don't know. This is my main reader though, for sure, every night, because the battery life is insane on this. But this is nice because it's a phone-sized e-reader. It makes me feel like I'm on my phone almost, but it's like just nice to read a book. And it is kind of amazing, but somehow the only app that syncs between all my devices is Kindle app. I can get Kindle on here. This is on Kindle. Kindle on here. Kindle on iPad. Kindle on MacBook. Kindle on my phone, which is over there. But crazy. I also use these smart light bulbs in here. This one's always set to red just because I'll have it on at night. And that's a smart light bulb. They'll wake me up in the morning. It just turns on like 15 minutes before my alarm. And it's super nice automatically. Don't have to set it up, don't have to think twice. So highly recommend some smart bulbs. But if you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I really want to help a lot more people out there and get better at making videos. And again, it's my goal to help 100,000 people, especially in this day and age where it's easy to get sucked up into this false reality, this kind of technical world, and lose yourself in it. And I don't want people to fall into that same trap that I've fallen into, and I want to help y'all get out of it. So consider subscribing. It's free, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Janade.